All right, recording started. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Josh, and for today's training, I will be discussing the master submittal log. So we'll get started by going over today's training objectives. First, we're going to discuss the purpose of the master submittal log. Then we'll show you how to prepare the submittal template. And finally, we'll show you how to upload the template to ACC and assign the submittals to the contractor. So why prepare a master submittal log? First, the enhancement of project planning. Preparing the log helps you review and understand your project at the very beginning as you review your various contract documents. It also allows you to schedule submittal review to align with construction activities and avoid delays. Second is that it ensures contract compliance. You're able to you're tracking all required submittals per contract documents and reduce the risk of missing critical submittals. With the ability to help you schedule the timely submission and review of submittals, you can mitigate risk by reducing the chances of rework, disputes, or delays. And lastly, it improves overall communication as it provides a clear roadmap of expectations between the contractor, design team, and HDOT. Now onto the master submittal log templates. Our team has prepared two templates for use to upload to ACC, one for state and one for federal projects. Both of these templates include standard specifications and special provisions submittals for each project type. These templates will be prepared and used to upload the project submittals onto ACC. We'll show you how this is done through the live demo portion of this training. So with that, we move on to the live demo portion of this training where we'll show you what the template will look like. As you can see, each line item corresponds with a submittal from the specifications and special provisions. One item to note before we move on is that we want to remind you and make sure that you do not delete the first 3 rows of the template, as this is required for the template to work when you're uploading it into ACC. So from this gray bar up, please make sure you do not delete or edit any portion of this template. Otherwise, the template will not work when you upload to ACC. And to utilize this template, at the very beginning of the project, as you prepare your ACC project space, you'll begin by going through your corresponding template that matches your project type, and you'll review each of the line item in the template, determine which ones are not required for your project and delete them. So you can go through the whole list and kind of see which projects are not really, or which submittals are not required for your project, and delete each of the row as you go through it. And with that, we'll start off with our first poll of the day. And let me pull that up for everyone to answer. So the first poll for the day: what documents can help you determine what submittals will be required for a project? So let's take a couple seconds to allow everyone to start answering the polls. Let me know if you guys don't see it. If you guys don't see it in your Microsoft Teams, you can also always feel free to type the answers you think in chat. This one is multiple choice. So let's take some time. And also, if anyone has any questions so far, please let me know. All right, got about a good portion of you saying all of the above. And then good amount of you are choosing multiple answers so far. So that's a good sign. Everyone is familiar with their project documents. In responses, we'll give it a little bit more and allow everyone to kind of answer the poll. But hopefully at the very beginning of your project, you're taking a look at all your different project documents and um, gathering it for your team, for the project engineers out there, and just getting familiar with your project overall. The best time to do so. A lot of downtime, a lot of prepping to that's happening. So it's a good time for you to start planning ahead, right? That should be good enough time. See if I can close the poll here. So thank you for everyone who answered. And with that, for the answer, it's all of the above. All of these different documents are very helpful in determining what is needed for your project. With any proper project planning, you'll be reviewing these documents at the very beginning of your project, as we mentioned, to become familiar and knowledgeable about your project. Um, while you're doing this, you might as well prepare your project submittals and prepare and make sure you minimize the submittals that you may accidentally miss throughout the project, and schedule the project submittals that you want submitted by certain dates accordingly. So let's go back to the master submittal log template. Um, let's show you a couple more tips you can go through on how you can go through all of the different line items and how to delete them. Um, as I mentioned before, there is this gray bar at the third row. You can actually go to the filter option here and use this bar to kind of filter all the items that are below. And you can use the first column to go through all your different specifications. Let's say there is a specification that you are looking for that isn't needed for your project. You can search for it and filter it out here. And just highlight all of these items and delete it to remove it from your template. And when you unfilter, all of those should be gone. And you can go through the different specifications that you wish to remove and isn't going to be a part of your project, and delete them accordingly. And um, oh, that so this is just a very quick and helpful way for you to go through all the line items without having to scroll up and down so much. It makes it easier to go through all the different line items and seeing them in different chunks instead of seeing it as a whole, as there are a lot of rows with this um, with the template, and becomes very daunting. Um, but as you go through and scroll down and see all your different submittals, you can kind of see which ones aren't involved in your project, and which ones are necessary or ones that aren't even mentioned in your project documents. And after you go through the template and you delete all of your submittals that aren't required, make sure you go back up to the top and you remove this filter that you created before you upload the template. Otherwise, there might be some issues that come along with that. And moving on to actually uploading this template, make sure you save all your changes when after you go through your master submittal log, um, to make sure that all your deleted items and all the submittals that you want are in the template. And now we can go into ACC to upload all your submittals. For today, we'll be using the H5 project that Joel had created previously as an example project for us to use. So to upload template into ACC, we have to go to the Submittals module. You can go to the blue creation button, click on import items, and here you can drag your file that you that we just created and drag and drop it here and import all of these items. As you can see, for the sample that I created, I only used 13 items, 13 submittals to be uploaded so that, it'll be a little more manageable for the purpose of this training. Once it's done uploading, it'll tell you all the number of items that were created successfully, and you can click done. And now it will automatically show you all of the items that have been created, and it's in draft form. If you ever click out of the submittals log for submittals module for any reason, you can always come back and just filter for all the draft items to see which ones were created to the master submittal log template. And once you have all of the master submittal log templates filtered out, shown as the draft status, we can click the checkbox next to the status column in the very first column and choose all of these new submittals and go through bulk actions and actually assign these to the contractor. Because at the moment it is in a draft state and is not assigned to anyone. And we of course want to assign this to the contractor. And so this is how you can do this in one easy step. A pop-up will appear after you click the assign to responsible contractor in the bulk action dropdown. And there are two fields that you do need to fill out. One is the responsible contractor and the submitter due date. For the responsible contractor, it'll only allow you to assign it to one user, but we do have multiple suggestions for how you would want to assign it to the appropriate contractor, user, or accounts. One is to assign it to a role. In your project, you will always you will typically have a contractor admin role, which I don't think are in this project at the moment because we typically don't have any contractors in our test projects. But you can always find that specific role. An example is project engineer. You can see here there are two members. It'll assign it to all the members that are in that project role. You can also assign it to a company. You can use QRC as an example here. And here it'll assign it to all the users that are listed under that company name at the very bottom. So this way it doesn't limit you to just assigning it to one user, but to multiple users so that they all have access to the submittals and they can prepare it accordingly. Typically, the project usually has one contractor that maybe preparing all the submittals, but sometimes they might have other users that are kind of doing multiple submittals all at once. So this way, it allows you more flexibility in signing those contracts. And as for the submitter due date, we suggest choosing a date that's far ahead in the future. Do note that you can always adjust the due date for the submittals by choosing a group of submittals, going to bulk items, edit fields, and editing the submitter due date for a more appropriate date. And we'll show you that shortly. But for now, let's maybe go a couple of months ahead of time, click submitter due date, and click send. This will process all of the submittals. Now, as you can see, none of them are in the draft status. They will instead be shown as required. And here it shows all of the newly submit newly created submittals that have been assigned to um, a group of users in the contractor side um, that are now in the required status. And as I mentioned before, if you want to adjust any of the submitter due date, you can choose the group of submittals that you wish to adjust, go to bulk actions, edit fields, and here there is a submitter due date where you can adjust the date of the submittal and when you wish to um, reassign and change the date. And during the initial review of the template, you know, that's an opportune time for you to communicate with the contractor and maybe establish some target dates for submittals and when it needs to be submitted. You know, this tool can help you as a CM to create reminders for yourself and the contractor for upcoming critical submittals, planning ahead and giving the project team ample time to review the submittals and help you, you know, stay within the schedule and mitigate those delays. And with that comes our next poll. I will pull up shortly. So the poll question is, who can you assign the draft submittals to in ACC? Contractor user account, contractor admin role, contractor company name, or multiple contractor users. So take some time to allow everyone to go through and answer this poll. And with that, I see there is a comment. Currently having the performance search spreadsheet. Yes, it is a bit of a duplicate, and you can use that as a way to help you also filter out all of the master submittal log. If you know you already know what submittals are required for the project, you can just use the template, make sure you match it as a one-to-one, and upload it into ACC and prepare it that way. And you can just you create all your mass submittals that you need for the project. So good comment there. Thank you for that, Calvin. See, lots of you are pretty evenly on the first three. Let's give it a couple more seconds to allow some more people to try to answer the poll. With that, let's close the poll. A lot of you answered the contractor admin role, which is good. But it's pretty even between the first three. And those of you that answered, you are correct. The first three options um, are the accounts or users that you can assign the draft submittals to in ACC. The only one you can't do is the multiple contractor users because it only allows you to put in one item in that field. But so thank you everyone who answered. Again, the reason why we choose a role or a company is just to allow a lot more flexibility and doesn't really restrict the users who can access that submittal. So today's training is pretty, pretty short, pretty quick, and that completes today's training of the Master Submittal Log. Here are some of the final takeaways that I hope you have for the training. Utilizing the Master Submittal Log process, we hope to encourage improvements in project planning, ensuring that the projects are compliant with their contracts, and enhance the communication amongst the project team and with the contractor. Along with that, we hope you kind of you learned how to go through the master submittal log template, how to upload it into ACC and how to properly assign it to your contractor. Um, Even outside of the master submittal log templates, a lot of these different tips also helps you out in your day-to-day usage of the submittal module as well. And with that, are there any questions from anyone in chat? Question from Kai, are we required to use the log? Yes, we you're required to use the log. This is something we encourage everyone to start using as soon as they can. New project, even current projects that you have submittals, you still have a couple more submittals. You can always grab the template when we provide it to you shortly after this meeting. We'll have it available for everyone to use and share that resource with you. Um, if you only have like maybe 10, 15 more submittals close to the end of your project, you can always upload all of that and when that's due. Work with Highway D when updating the specification and discuss this. And another comment from Joel, this helps you ensure you're tracking all your required submittals for your project. Yeah, just want to emphasize that's one of the main uses for this master submittal log is for you to make sure you don't miss any critical submittals and any submittals, in fact, and make sure that you kind of keep track of your submittal checklist as you will, especially for those out, making sure everything is there. That's right. We're always thinking about closeout, even from the very beginning of the project. Um, just making sure you set yourself up for success from the very beginning. Otherwise, are there any other additional questions before we kind of close out and do more casual questions and end the recording? All right. Otherwise, thank you everyone for attending this training.
Glenn, do you have your hand up?
Yes.
Or are you just saying hi?
Yes, the same.
Hand up.
Hand up. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, just would that be that log will be updated when the contractor submitted something? Is that the place where we process our submittals to?
Well, the actual process of the submittals will happen in ACC. This kind of just makes more of the pre-uploads the general information and submittal template for the duration of the project. It's up to the contractor to actually upload their documents and their attachments that they need to do the submittal and initiate those reviews. What this is for is
that's only for like a list, right? It's not like when the contractor submits something, it wouldn't be noted as submitted and ready to process, something like that. Not right.
Show
me that place where it says it's because initially it says required, right? It's just say required. That's all they can see.
Yeah, it's required for them to submit it. Yeah, that's kind of
so if they submit something, is that the place where they submit it?
Yeah, that's the place they submit it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a placeholder, as Joel said in the chat. So it kind of just creates a placeholder for all of these different items.
You did bring up an interesting. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, why don't you pull it up and show it again, where it has it sitting there, so it's waiting. So it's more of a preparation for the contract. So everything is in ACC waiting for submission. Does that make sense, Glenn? So it shows up and then the contractor knows, oh, I got to do, all of these different submittals.
Which is why it's important to put it in a contractor's ball and court so that they have the agency to, prepare the submittal from their side and doesn't wait for you to, send it over to them. It just puts all of the submittals in their ball and court, and when they're ready to prepare the submittal, they can start doing that immediately in ACC.
And I was going to add that I've seen this happen a few times where the contractor may decide to ignore that list that's in ACC and just submit it as a separate submittal. So I think that's a kind of an important piece, is to just remind the contractor, hey, we have placeholders for all the submittals. Make sure you're using those placeholders so we're not duplicating efforts.
That's where the communication part is key. Working with the contractor early, establishing this new process, and just making sure that both sides are aware that this is how you're setting up the project, and you're already creating all of these submittals. So, and if there's any changes that do need to be made, in terms of like making slight changes to the titles or anything like that, they can always coordinate with you. The placeholder is already there, and they can just use that to start their submittal.
Wanted to add one more note, is because this was a question I had, but if a contractor decides they wanted to submit, say, multiple submittals under that spec, maybe it's multiple design mixes that they want to use for the same thing, they can also still submit additional submittals under that same heading, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not limiting yourself saying, oh, you can only submit one mix design for this. It's kind of just like, make sure you submit at least one, is what this log is saying.
The contractor could still submit additional submittals outside of the list that you initially created. Thanks for that, Joel. Any other questions?
Marvin's asking where the file is.
So the file will upload that to the wiki shortly and share that link to everyone. We'll do it through the newsletter. I'll also send out an email that's tied to this training as well once I kind of prepare the training documents and the recording has been uploaded so that everyone has access. So we'll have multiple chances for you to get those files. I guess some of the other items that I mentioned, we can talk about that more internally, how we're going to do that.
Well, Josh, can you see the chat? No, I had some other things with that.
Yeah. Can we add to the spreadsheet if district office or other sections have additional requirements? It would be ideal for the design section to make the spreadsheet project specific with special conditional submittals required too. Yeah, so the submittal template, you can also add to that template if there are other items that you wish to add. Pull up the template real quick. For overall use of this template, the main items you'd want to make sure you fill in are these green required sections at the very minimum for ACC to upload it. And the other fields are extra fields for you to use to add additional information for your submittal. But if there are any other items that you do want to add, you can feel free to add those items into the template itself, and it will add those into ACC. So just because we pre-uploaded all of these doesn't necessarily mean it stops you from adding more items into it. It just gives you a majority of the things that you need for the project. But there's others that you see in the drawings or any other items that pop up in design. You're more than welcome to add them into the template prior to uploading it. And this is just a one-time thing also. Let's say there's 10 more submittals that you do want to add, even after you upload it initially, you can keep importing a new template with those additional items as well into ACC. Just make sure you delete all the ones that you previously added and just only include all of the new submittals that you do want. That way, it prevents you from duplicating. One thing to note also, when you initially create the items in the draft section, you do have the ability to delete those draft items for the submittal. Let's say you accidentally those submittals and you didn't want them. When it still says draft on the status, you can delete them in ACC, and it doesn't populate into the log. But once you do process it and change the status to required, you are forced to either repurpose that submittal and change all the metadata in it, or set it as void. But during your initial upload, while it's still in draft, you can delete all of those items. And you can also do that similarly by clicking all of those different items and clicking delete draft items. But again, that's only if it's in the draft stage. So. All right. Any other questions?
Also, Josh, like say you already converted the draft items to required items. What is the process? Can you walk through the process of like if you wanted to void or delete the required or just one of these items that you have?
Yeah, so let's say you didn't want to you wanted to choose this item and you didn't want to include it. The only choice that you do have after the fact is to really void the item. So if you set this as void, it'll basically just remove it to the list and becomes kind of a read only. But it basically kind of takes it out of the submittal log. It's still kind of there, but it's mostly hidden. It's included in a lot of the.
Wait, could you go back? How did you get to that step where you got the box to allow you to void it?
So there's the three buttons on the very right hand side of the submittal.
Oh,
there is a drop down, and you'll have all of these different options here. You can submit to manager, open a new tab. At the very bottom is set as void. If you want to do this for multiple items, you can check multiple of the submittals by clicking the checkbox here. And there is always an option at the very top called bulk actions, which allows you to do the same action for multiple items. And here at the very bottom is also the option to set as void. And you can remove those items from the list.
thank you.
All right. Anything else from the group? Otherwise, I will just end the recording. I'll stay online. But thank you everyone for attending the training. And again, we'll send all of these references and training documents to you shortly in the newsletter, as well as a separate email from this invite. All right. Thank you, everyone.